As the 60s progressed, particularly with the weakening of the Hays Code, the violence of Italian westerns was beginning to influence American cinema.
I need you alive.
In 1968, the Hays Code was replaced by the MPAA rating system, opening the door for more violent and sexual content in Hollywood. Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch would take full advantage of this. In this film, a group of outlaws led by William Holden's Pike Bishop are looking for one last big score so they can all retire before civilization and old age catch up with them.
I'd like to make one good score and back off. Back off to what?
They agree to steal weapons for Mexican General Mapache, who opposes the revolutionaries under Pancho Villa. Jamie Sanchez Angel, who was raised in a nearby village, resents Mapache's oppressive rule, and ends up being captured by him. On the gang's trail is Robert Ryan's Deke Thornton, a former member of the gang who has been tasked by the railroad with hunting them down, in exchange for his freedom. 10 minutes were cut from the film upon its release, infuriating director Sam Peckinpah, who had run up against the studio system before when cutting Major Dundee. These scenes detail Thornton's history with the gang, and Pike's abandonment of him. Peckinpah's original cut was not released until 1995, 11 years after the director's death.
Now what in the hell is that?
Like Once Upon a Time in the West, The Wild Bunch deals with the end of the West and the coming of civilization. But Peckinpah's vision is almost completely nihilistic. He strips the Western hero down to his most basic of values, loyalty.
We're not getting rid of anybody. We're gonna stick together just like it used to be. When you side with a man, you stay with him, and if you can't do that, you're like some animal. You're finished. We're finished. All of us.
This is what separates the bunch from their enemies, and this is what ultimately leads to their downfall, as they refuse to abandon Angel, leading to a bloody confrontation with General Mapache's men. The film's shootouts were groundbreaking for the time. Lou Lombardo's rapid-fire editing, alternating between slow motion and normal speed, for which he won an award from the Society of Motion Picture Sound Editors, gave them a unique rhythm. Sam Peckinpah insisted on realistic squibs and that each weapon should have its own specific sound effect. According to Turner Classic Movies, more blanks were fired during the filming of The Wild Bunch than all the live rounds expended during the Mexican Revolution combined. The Wild Bunch is incredibly violent, especially for a film released in the late 60s. It was a divisive film upon its release, and it remains controversial today. When the director's cut was released in 1995, it initially received an NC-17 rating from the MPAA, despite having the same amount of violent content as the original film. Warner Brothers successfully appealed for an R rating without any further edits.
If they move, kill them.
Peckinpah felt that most westerns made up to that point were unrealistic, and wanted to create a more sobering portrayal of violence, one that he hoped would ultimately be cathartic for an American audience still reeling from the Vietnam War. Peckinpah was disturbed to find, after the film was released, that people actually enjoyed the violence, and it became more commonplace in Hollywood after this. As part of the new Hollywood movement, The Wild Bunch influenced a generation of filmmakers and, along with Arthur Penn's Bonnie and Clyde, revolutionized on-screen violence.